Hi there, welcome to another Blaze Hackman Industries reaction video. This time we're talking about surfing, and in particular we're talking about rips and dangerous paddle outs. One of my favorite things to do is go to North Bondi. If you're not familiar with Australia, look up Bondi. You might know the show Bondi Rescue. At the Northern Inn on a big day, there's a massive rip. It does a lot of the work for you. It just takes you out the back, you catch a wave, and then it just pushes you back through the impact zone, back into the rip, and you save yourself a lot of time. So rips, for those who know what they're doing, can be actually fantastic, advantageous to your surfing, save you a lot of time and energy. If you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to die. So this next level, this is one of the most dangerous rips, wave, slab setups I've ever seen. And Nathan Florence, a world champion surfer, goes out here. I don't think he's even that familiar with this break, but the kid he's with, who's about 17, takes him out there, and then they're like, oh, we're going to do it. And Nathan Florence is like, yeah, we're going to do it. And they go out, and there's so much happening in this video. It's, I have to say, frankly, terrifying. I find it freaking terrifying. I would never do this, but I do appreciate the mastery he has. And I'm not saying, and I would think by his own admission, that he completely was across this. But once you understand how water works and the kind of shit that can happen and how dangerous it can be, something like this just knocks you around a bit. And, you know, I find surfing videos, frankly, unless it's an outlier wave like Chopu or Jaws or Nazaire or some freaky little slab like in, no, what is it, Maroubra or Malabar. It's right down in Cronulla in Sydney called Ours, which breaks really close to the rocks and looks a bit like this. I think there's a sort of ubiquitous nature to surfing and surfing videos. You go left, you go right. It doesn't matter how big it is if it's clean. I get a bit bored with that stuff, but this is a video I watched and I just could not stop watching. It's got about 1 million views on it. And this is, you know, it's not meant to be critical of Nathan Florence, but it's meant to show you his expertise and calculated risk. Anyway, let's go into it. Here's the wave here. And let's just start her up.
I don't know if this helmet's going to fit on my head, but
Got left.
Yeah, I know.
So you got a big hollow slab. It's breaking there. It's a right-hander. It's a kind of overcast day. And on a camera like this, it does have this reductive quality to it. So the wave looks about half the size it actually is. But once I get closer, you can see how big it is and how powerful it is. And if you look in here in the middle, that foam ball is where all your energy is. That's why if you see surfers always when they're on the face of a wave, they'll come back into this foam ball. That's where all the power is. And that is a big engine room just there.
what way are you thinking you're going to go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The left looks sick, but it closes out.
I see. There's like on the left as well. So it's like a walkie shelf.
Yeah.
Here's another one. So I have to put the volume down here a bit because this is just such a bleak setup. So you got out the back, you got the wave out, I don't know, like 70, 80 meters or something. And it's just hollow on each side. And I mean, I reckon that's probably 8 to 10 feet. And I'm being really conservative there. There's another setup behind it. And what it's doing is it's coming in and it's hitting this slab of rock. And then it's flowing, you know, like a big crow's out in a uniform, massive white water. And then it's flowing off that into this trough area. And that's where the rip is. And you can see some foam here in the bottom left. And that's where there's a bit of action later on. But there's so many things you're dealing with. So you're dealing with cold temperatures, unknown environment. You've got a gloomy day. So God knows what's lurking out there. I don't know what the shark situation or whale situation is in Scotland or predator situation is. And you've got submerged hazards. You've got, you know, the setup, what kind of board you're on, what's your leg rope, what's, you know, how much strain can it take. You've got these rocks from the land before time, a bit like Mavericks looks. And you've got this massive amount of hydraulic pressure in all directions. So the current's going left to right here. It's also coming in. And you can see, we'll just keep moving here, that it's everywhere. can just the noise itself is intimidating, and that's why I keep keeping the volume up so you can get a sense of this, the rage of nature and the amount of white noise coming in. So here they are on the rock formation, and it's this really interesting geological fractured rock, and it's almost kind of Minecrafty. You know, the rock's quite symmetrical in a way. It's very square. So one upside is there's lots of natural steps there, but you can see here this whole area is just flooded. And I mean, I think a lot of people, it's like when someone's fighting or they're running a race, we sit on the couch and we go, oh, well, why don't you just, it doesn't look that hard. Or in mixed martial arts, just get up, I get off the floor. But once you're in it, you don't really understand or appreciate it. And this amount of water, when you're at an elevated position, you really have a bird's eye view, and you can kind of have this, a kind of delusion as to what you know, because you've got like this Overwatch situation happening. But when you're down at the water level on a board, and that's the only thing protecting you, like a skinny 6 to 8 foot board, and you're at sea level, you're laying down, really all you can see is what's looming, what's coming in front of you, what's directly in front of you, and what's looming, which is also intimidating in itself. Okay, so paddle out attempt with Scottish 17-year-old Ben Larg. Give him a follow, please do. I'm not monetized yet. So all I can do with this video is tell you how good Nathan Florence is, how much I respect him, and to follow his channel. So just a few other things. We've just got to add all these elements up so you can appreciate what's going on here. Because if you just look at it on the face of it, a guy walking out to sea in a rock platform. So he's got a very thick wetsuit. Cold temperatures there, so it's going to be like, I don't know, 3 to 5 mil, something like that. So it's going to be restrictive. So you've got to deal with that. And the weight of a wetsuit, they're not light. Even though technology's come away, they're not light. Once you get some water on them, you take a wetsuit off, and water is a heavy molecule, right? Oh, it's a heavy compound molecule, so it adds up. Not only that, he's got booties on. I've got a GoPro, right, with a mouth mount. I'll show you it. Because this is my GoPro. I've got a floaty on it, and so I can see it with more visibility. And I've also got a lanyard, which I made myself on it. He's got a black GoPro with a black mouth mount and no lanyard. So he's having to paddle with this thing in his mouth. And I know from using my own, is when I'm paddling, usually once you're duck and diving under waves, you get your timing right. But when you get a mouth mount, it kind of opens your mouth a little bit. And it does allow some water in. So then you have to be extra vigilant with your timing. So you're exhaling as you're duck diving under the water. And if I mess that up, then I'm just going to have the lanyard to rescue it because it's tied around my body. He doesn't seem to have a lanyard on this. He might have, but if he loses it, he loses the whole GoPro. Unless there's a dark colored lanyard on there and I can't see. So he's got to deal with that. Not only that, he's got the responsibility of having Ben, who, he's an older guy. He's got this fiduciary duty to the younger person. Not only that, is the timing of the wave. So you've got an no break. You've got masses of water coming in on a massive day. And this looks like double what I've ever been out in, say, Bronte in Sydney, which is a heavy kind of wave and scary at 4 to 6 foot. This looks about 8 to 10 foot, maybe larger. And so there's so much pressure going into this. Plus it's on video, and his wife's videoing as well. Then you've got, I don't know what rescue services are like there. I'm just going to cover all this now, so just so we were on the same page, right? So if you, say, make it through this paddle and then you get caught inside, or your leg rope breaks, and then you're stuck inside and you've got all this hydraulic pressure, all these currents moving around, you're not really able to, you haven't got fins, so you have to swim. So you have to deal with all that. And then if you're stuck in the impact zone, what are you going to do? Who's going to get you? Is the other guy going to get in danger? Can you get a helicopter or rescue boat out there? There's all these elements running around. to consider when you're doing this. So you have to be an excellent waterman to be able to go into this with, you know, more than like 80% confidence, which I think obviously he does. But there's a few things he finds out on the way. There you've got this sort of expanded view. It's just one of the most intimidating things I've ever seen. Just this kind of Lord of the Rings level small bay area, and then these waves coming in, and God knows what's in front of you. Okay, I'm going to stop there because he's completely obscured now. So that's sea foam. It's like a microorganism. Happens under certain conditions. It's very thick there. This video is not about, you know, lecturing anyone, but it's well known and everyone's commented on it. There's a bunch of guys in the Netherlands who died, like 5 of them, surfing because they got disorientated in sea foam. You know, you could be paddling into the rocks. You don't know. You could be paddling into the break. Any number of things could happen here. This, by his own admission, caught him off guard. And it was a lot thicker than he thought. His wife's laughing. Just to be fair, like I'd be laughing too, and you don't really know because that just looks like fun, doesn't it? It looks like a winter wonderland, and it just looks like ice cream. Looks like somewhere you want to, you know, Willy Wonka's seaside ocean machine factory, but it was a bit more bleak than that. Anyway, what you'll see now is this current starts taking him out, and he's committed now. And they do get back in and had to go. They couldn't come back this way because he said that this current was just far too powerful. There's no way you were coming back this way. So what you got here is you're at ground level or water level and you're looking up and all you can see is big slab to your left, cold environment. You got waves looming and now they're coming in and there's also a slab on the right. And it's kind of doing this A-frame effect. So you're being sucked into the middle of it and having to duck dive under that. And this is a few feet of minimum of white water. And that's where a lot of the power is too. So you're dealing with that and you're committed. You can't go back. All you can do is go forward and keep paddling. That's the only choice available to you. It's crazy. Look at this set. You watch this for a second. I'm going to get a glass of water.
Just make sure Finn has no intentions of going in.
Sorry?
Just make sure Finn has no intentions of going in. That's good.
I'm back. So at this stage, Nathan's out. And he's like someone who'll be naturally a good swimmer. I think he's quite tall, long-limbed, and he's paddling like hell. Makes it through. Now we're following Ben. It's actually a little bit harder for him. Look at that slab on the right.
That is big, isn't it? Because you were looking at it before, you didn't think of it as being that big.
Look at this one.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, Ben.
Gets under that one.
That's a fine.
So you can see he's still dealing with it. I think his parents or someone, sounds like his mum and dad are commenting going, oh, this is huge. Come on, Ben, keep paddling. And you can see that on the right it's collapsing and it's coming in from the left and it's all sort of, it's almost like the wedge. You know how they've got that man-made jetty or like rock slab they do there, and then it comes in, it hits that wall and bounces back and it creates this sort of apex effect. And that's kind of what's happening here. There's another hollow one over there on the right. Oh. It's enormous. I can tell you that just those two waves then, I would have retired me from surfing. They're just so big. These guys have got balls of steel. So now Nathan Florence is going left. Our left. He hasn't stopped paddling. And you can see, he came out later, he said it was really hard to maintain position because of so much water moving around and getting to the prime spot in this. And I guess the thing is, you really don't know what the other guy's doing and where they are. You can't look back. I think once with this, you're committed and you have to focus on that. You really don't have the luxury of looking back and finding out where the other guys. You just have to be confident before you go in that that person's going to have enough expertise, even at their tender age, to be able to get through this. Now he's behind the slab.
To be quite honest, when I think the tides are really big at the moment, so I think the tide's a bit high, so it's normally back a bit.
Okay.
And there's normally like a channely bit here, but that is obviously
today.
not there today. I think Ben's just sitting watching Nathan.
They're a long way out. Look at this one, nice hollow slab. Ugh. There's quite a few people watching by the sounds of it. So you would have people, you know, if you got into trouble, calling emergency service. Look at that.
Yeah, how you doing?
That's a big wave. The other thing too is you'll notice that Nathan Florence, he goes right on all these waves that are coming up. I won't go through them all. I'll go to my favorite one. But once again, you're kind of committing to the unknown because you've just come from the left. You know what's going on there. You know how the waves are working. But I think he said that a lot of those lefts were shutting down. So he's going right. So he's going further into the abyss for the surf. Here he goes. Double overhead barrel there, maybe triple. And with the GoPro in his mouth.
Well, here's the little girls here.
Let's not forget, if you go too far to the right, then you're closer to the slab, and then you don't know if a cleanup set comes, like a freak set, then you've got to deal with that. And you might get washed backwards over the platform. So there's just so many levels of grit to this. I can't tell you. That's why I've watched it so many times. That's why it's got 1 million views, this video.
Oh yes, they're here. Wow, even them just being out there right now is so
Yeah,
cool.
being out in that sea. Hey, Johnny.
Humbling.
Oh my God. Just got onto that one.
In there. Oh, I'm glad he didn't go for that one.
Huge.
One.
Goes right again. Big barrel. And another one. Oh, that's Ben. I mean, at least he committed to it. I don't think he made any of these, but I mean, I don't know, 10, 12 foot, whatever that was. I really can't tell. I know it's just big. Now he's set a cord on the inside, paddling back. So that's the cost of, if you ride it like Nathan does, you get back into the channel. But if you don't make it, then you're stuck in the impact zone. Then you have to paddle out of the impact zone, try and get back over to some kind of channel. And in the meantime, we've got these, if a big set's come through, they're going to land on you and you're going to get pushed back towards the slab. Just mortifying.
He's getting caught here.
He's paddling. Get under it. Just tucks under that
He's just gonna get
freaking...
fucking sucked all the way in here.
Another one. Paddle.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he's close to the rocks there. You can see it's... Oh. Obviously he's confident and he's done this stuff before, the big waves. Boom. You have to make it. Another enormous one.
put corn in with a glass. Oh, you could only roll.
I think it's the next wave is the one that freaks me out. Yep. I mean, it doesn't get any better. So he exits that wave with like 360 air that's about 10 foot above the wave. That's just incredible with a GoPro in his mouth. I mean, it's that's just an amazing result, and he's starting to feel comfortable. And you know, these high level guys, they just know they're gonna make 90% of their waves, I reckon. Whereas someone like me, your average surfer, you're looking at like 20%, 20 to 30%, maybe more, maybe 50. But you can't afford to fuck it up on a day like this. Anyway, go to Nathan Florence's channel. The rest of the videos there. I'm not going to show you any more of this. It was more about how he expertly negotiated that and a few surprises along the way. And just bear that in mind next time you go surfing. Anything can happen. Okay, that's the end of this Blaze Hackman reaction video, and I'll catch you soon.